Hello, hello, hello to all you wisdom walkers out there. This is Jojo Maria and Saroma coming to you at Astrology for Self Mastery for the last half of April. And I'm going to talk about that new moon that we just had on Friday and some other very special planetary and cosmic affects and influences that are going to be happening. And right as I started my live stream intro, uh, the sun broke through a cloud. Just was totally in my eyes. I can see anything, so I had to let my music play a little longer than one because I thought I had to close the blind, but now it's gone back behind a cloud. I think it may stay, but if not, that's okay because I can just put a picture up now that I've introduced myself and what we're going to be doing. Yeah, yeah. I hope everybody is well. There were a lot of storms that came through the Midwest yesterday, and people lost their homes. There haven't been any reported deaths or injuries. It's amazing. Thank God for those Midwest basements and root cellars, right? But still, people have really lost a lot of everything, or precious items that they'll never replace. So it's a real time of grief that's going on. But there's also this relief, that the storms are gone so it's that kind of an energy. And it's very much in sync with the energy of what we've been going through this first quarter of the year. Um, coming into now in the second quarter. But it is that, like, this letting go energy, this grieving energy, people dying, people getting sick, and of course with the war that's going on. So lots of loss of lives needlessly that's happening. And so there is this, really heavy grief feeling. But I believe that our job is to always believe that the universe always, always is about our healing, our growth, and our evolution. And that, you know, the day always follows the night, not the other way around. We're supposed to rest at night because the beginning is the dawn, the morning. Yeah. So the light really will always assert itself no matter what is going on. So we need to keep the faith and keep up our high vibrations of hope for the fact that things are going to work out, things are going to get better. Absolutely, yeah. And I tell you, I'm grateful for the sunlight coming in on me because I got spoiled living in Southern California for 5 years, so I'm not gonna close those blinds. I'm loving this. So here's my quote for you for this this part of the month, and the theme for April is movement. As the month comes to a close, the atmosphere becomes lighter and more dynamic as both Venus and Uranus enter the mutable air sign of Gemini. New ideas will arise quickly and spontaneously. Conversations will multiply, and we will feel more open to learning, experimenting, and welcoming unexpected connections. Also, the sun in Taurus will remind us of the importance of staying grounded and connected to our physical body and the earth, inviting us to focus on what genuinely resonates instead of following every new possibility and idea. And that's from Moon Omens in their April forecast. Yeah. And then just this also lovely quote from Molly McCord, the intuitive astrologer on YouTube. She says, a soul level reset, an alchemical transformation is here, where old identities fall away and new aspects of self emerge, inviting you to move forward with honest courage and trust in a larger evolutionary path that benefits both your personal journey and the collective. Ashe. Mhm. And one other reminder about this new astrological year that we stepped into on March 20th. The three things that we can hold about it is that it is about forward movement. There are huge planetary shifts, so we know things are going to be shifting. I'm going to be talking about Uranus leaving Taurus and entering Gemini and the impact of that, the importance of that. And then this transforming into the new, because fire will be prominent throughout this astrological year, because both Jupiter and the South Node are going to enter Leo at the end of June and July, respectively. And that fire element is associated with courage, vitality, and the spark of new life, which emphasizes the importance of creativity, self expression, action, and I'll say right action, risk taking throughout these upcoming months. Yeah. So it is good. We have to stay hopeful. So I'm going to take you back to Friday because on Friday we had our new moon in Aries, a deep reset, rebirth, and new beginning energy. Yes, yes, yes. And I know some of you are definitely feeling that. Many of you are feeling that. Now, with this new moon comes this aspect that I wanted to share with you, which is I call it the planets stack up in the Aries part of the sky. It's also called a stellium. And a stellium will depend on the planets involved and the sign of Aries. And generally, this combination can bring an abundance of energy, ambition, and enthusiasm, and can be used to great effect in areas such as career, education, and relationships. It can also bring an increased focus on personal growth, self development, and self expression, all of what I call self mastery. It is important to remember that this energy can be overwhelming and to take steps to ensure that it is managed and channeled in a productive and positive way. And you may have seen if you're following astrology on YouTube, especially or Instagram, that the talk of the 8 planets in Aries, but 2 of them are dwarf planets. And one of them I just learned about, which is really exciting. So we have, of course, the 2 personal planets of Mercury and Mars. Of course, we have the sun in Aries. We're still in Aries season, and the moon in Aries at the time of this new moon. And then going out a little further, we get Neptune and Saturn, and we know about that big conjunction that happened earlier in the year, the 0 point, right? That was in February, no, January. And then we come to Pluto, I mean, Chiron. Now, Chiron is really interesting because he sits between Saturn and Jupiter. So he kind of, it's running back and forth between them. But he's considered a dwarf planet. There's another name they give to him, which I can't remember now. But he's very, very influential because he's the wounded healer energy. And for the last 7.5 years, he's been in the sign of Aries, working on us for our personal identity, our self worth, what we believe and what we think about ourselves, and doing lots of healing work, bringing lots of healing opportunities for our self mastery. And then this new planet, which I'll speak more about in a minute, is Eris. And Eris is a dwarf planet also out in the Kuiper Belt, and she represents chaos and disruption. So, and I'll tell you more about her in just a minute. But just wanted you to be aware of this Aries stellium because it's very rare to have this many heavenly bodies in the same area of the sky all at once like this. Yeah. And this is from Molly McCord. I just love her visuals that she's doing with some of her reports. And she says, Aries Stellium, a recipe for radical rebirth. An extraordinary 8-planet alignment in Aries creates a primal, high energy environment, pushing individuals from overthinking into bold, courageous action for self identity refinement. Yes, or redefinition, she says, but I also think it's refinement. And she again focuses on this fire energy, saying regulating the life force, fire and air signs coming together, bringing high momentum. Yeah. So again, we're, really in this very powerful time of new beginnings, rebirthing, new shifts, new learnings. Yeah. It's a really powerful time. And if you're not feeling tired, you should be, because this energy is really, really doing something to our psyche and to our brain. Yeah. So let me break down more about the information on the new moon specifically for you. So, new moon, time to press restart. The first new moon of the astrological new year is a special one, filled with bright new beginnings. The Aries moon brings us power, confidence, and passion to go after our goals, knowing that we will succeed if we give it our all. The Aries new moon on April 17th offers a potent opportunity to plant seeds for a fresh start. This lunation aligns with 5 planets in Aries, along with the healing asteroid Chiron, infusing our intentions with a grounded healing and spiritually attuned energy. It's a chance to get clear on your personal goals and priorities, while also considering how they impact your closest relationships. Use this new moon to define what you want to create or transform in the weeks and that months ahead. Yeah. So again, more assistance with that moving forward. Now, new moon in Aries, healing self abandonment. Yes. Closely conjunct Chiron, the celestial body named after the mythological wounded healer. This new moon is a potent initiation into a new chapter of our healing journey. This is the last time in our lifetime that the sun meets Chiron in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. And so, this is a time when questions of identity and purpose can no longer be bypassed. It's now or never. Chiron's activation can bring old pain, unhealed wounds, and deep vulnerabilities into the spotlight. The new moon encourages us to acknowledge where we may have compromised speaking our truth for the sake of acceptance or belonging, and invites us to take the first step toward expressing ourselves more wholly and unapologetically. Yes. And in our world, in our society, where so much is about what's going on for you externally, to measure whether or not you're worthy, you're valuable. It's no, wonder that it's so easy for us to give away our power over to somebody else, to abandon who we really are and what we're really about, just so we can fit in, go along with the program, not be alone, not be set aside, and then whatever other fears that we may have. So this is such an important energy, and remember, the new moon energy doesn't go away on Friday. It's still with us, and it'll be with us until that full moon in Scorpio on May 1st. So this is an energy that is going to really push up. If you're not mastering yourself and acting on it, if you're not really being in your truth, you're going to be feeling something and it's not going to feel good. So just know that this energy is going on. So here's some more about healing, self abandonment, and what Eris is about. Chiron, the sun and moon in Aries, are also tightly conjunct Eris, a slow-moving dwarf planet named after the mythological goddess of chaos and discord, famous for her role in starting the Trojan War. Now, Eris needs over 550 years to complete a journey through the zodiac, through the zodiacal wheel, and has been in Aries since 1925. In astrology, she's associated with the impulse to disrupt false harmony by revealing uncomfortable truths. Eris is a trickster goddess who stirs conflict not for the sake of creating chaos, but rather to bring to the surface dynamics that were already present but not openly acknowledged. She is also associated with how we react to experiences of being left out, excluded, or ignored, a theme that could come into the spotlight throughout the upcoming lunar month. Yeah, I was very, very grateful to find out about Eris. And in this picture, I'm sorry, I took the picture away. Come back, picture. Yeah. In this picture, you see her holding this golden apple because that is what is caused becomes the we call it the MacGuffin to start the Trojan War. She shows up at a meeting, and felt really upset because she hadn't been invited. Doesn't it sound like the story of Sleeping Beauty, right? The witch shows up and she's mad because nobody invited her. But she throws this golden apple out like a competition who can get it. And that, kicks off the Trojan War. But that notion of the golden apple, that gets used in Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, other fairy tales, goes back to this, Greek and Roman mythology about Eris. So let's see what else there is. So, an empowered expression of Eris teaches us to be radically honest and unapologetic about our desires while revealing what needs to change so that something more authentic can emerge. Eris and Chiron's activation can elicit strong emotional responses. This configuration challenges us to pay attention to how we might silence ourselves to keep the peace or belong, and to be aware of the impulse to generate conflict and destruction for its own sake, to get attention, right? This new moon aspect brings us an opportunity to recognize, and tend to the parts of ourselves that need attention, presence, and care, and to develop a new relationship with the medicine we can offer to the world. Themes surrounding self assertion, standing up for ourselves, and trusting our anger and desires will be emphasized again during this lunar time period. Yeah, so important. So, some more about new moon in Aries, and it gets into this me versus we. Again, and this is about, discerning and setting boundaries and not giving yourself over to the we if it's not working for you, if your needs are not getting met. So, new moon square Pluto and Jupiter, the sun, the moon, Chiron, and Eris in the late degrees of Aries are widely squaring both Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius and Jupiter in Cancer. The square to Pluto contributes to intensifying our feelings and invites us to discover the deep motives behind our instinctual reactions. The square to Jupiter increases our sensitivity and our need for true belonging, connection, and safety. The square to Pluto in Aquarius could reveal where our personal desires clash with group expectations or collective pressures. Jupiter's activation magnifies our need for emotional security and intimacy. These squares highlight the tension between our desire to honor what we need and want and the awareness of how our choices and actions impact the people closest to us. Yeah, absolutely. New moon in Aries being true to you. As the new moon in Aries occurs, Mars, the sign's ruler, is conjunct Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune in Aries. The conjunction of Mars, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune adds more complexity to this new moon and the upcoming lunar month. While Mars is at home in Aries, his placement between Neptune and Saturn adds more restraint and confusion to his usual directness and desire to act. Neptune's activation can blur boundaries and diffuse our motivations. Saturn's proximity to Mars emphasizes the need to act maturely and responsibly while increasing tendencies toward self doubt and suppression of our instinct and natural anger response. These alignments highlight the need to align our thoughts, our words, our intentions, and our actions and make changes that reflect our uniqueness and authenticity. So again, it's this, you know, reminder of the importance of us walking our talk, walking our path, and not giving into believing that we have to go along with somebody else's program in order to be okay. To find the courage to say no and take care of ourselves. And if something has to get let go of so that we can stay true to ourselves, let it go. Because holding on at some point, it's not going to be a good day. Ain't no happy endings in that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely not. Mm, yeah. Hmm. So that was on Friday. Now we get to Saturday, the 18th, yesterday. And we had Mercury in Aries sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. Have confidence with this flow energy in your intuition, as the understanding aspect can help you read between the lines to help you undercover anything. Don't let yourself be fooled. So, again, a nice energy trying to keep us, right, in alignment, keep us on point. And then today, Sunday the 19th, we have entered into Taurus season. I always get excited about Taurus season because the weather should be warmer, it just feels good. And the name of this month, May, that has um a nice sound to it. It just rolls off your tongue, May. So there is something that's really sensuous and sonorous and it feels loving. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so I think it's also us feeling that Venus energy that shows up at this time of year. Yeah. And especially again, if you live in a cold like me, yes, I am so ready for some May weather, some May flowers and some beauty and some good weather. So, happy birthday to the Taurus community. On April 19th to 20th, 2026, the sun's ingress into Taurus brings a much needed change of pace. There has been so much fire, so much cardinal energy, and forward thrust that things are now in desperate need to settle, stabilize, and find more grounded footing. Taurus season is when we move from initiation to consolidation, taking what Aries set in motion and giving it form, weight, and staying power. And that's from Astro Butterfly. Taurus season is an invitation to cultivate self love, hone our talents, prioritize nourishing ourselves, and create a life aligned with our true values. It is time It is a time of year to focus on cultivating receptivity. Yeah, open up to receive, strengthening our self worth, and welcoming more abundance into our life. Yes, 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 and more yes. So happy Taurus season to all you Taurians out there. I have some family members who are Taurus, and hold on for 1 second here before I get into this because I'm missing something. Hmm. Let me just look through my slides. What did I do with that? I bet you I might have put it at the very end, and I didn't want it at the very end. I might have put it at the very end. Oh, I know what. I forgot. I forgot to put it in. That's okay. Everything happens for a reason. All right. It was a birthday shout out to my great nephew, and I forgot I had already uploaded the slides before I had put it in. So, but that's okay. I will remedy that the next one, the next video. So back to the 19th today. We are going to have this triple conjunction in Aries. And again, you know, we have the stellium. So again, this is unusual. This is a rare cosmic aspect of having Mars with Saturn, Mercury with Saturn, and then Mars and Mercury coming together in a conjunction. And when the planets conjoin, that's when, if you looked at them through a telescope, they would just be right together over top of each other. And that means that astrologically, their energies are, you know, heightened and strengthened between the two of them. So more Martian energy, more Saturn energy. So more form, more structure, more let's go, let's do it, let's build it. And Mercury and Saturn, it's like, let's speak, but with structure and diplomacy and alignment and form. And then Mercury and Mars, oh my God, it is about, right? Moving with this communication, moving our communication. Um, and the communication being courageous and strong. So let me give you some of the astrologers' breakdown of this because it is a really powerful, powerful thing. On April 19th, Mars crosses Saturn, and on April 20th, Mars perfects a conjunction with Mercury, too. The Mars Mercury Saturn triple conjunction brings a reality check, asking us to be disciplined, responsible, and intentional with both our actions and our words. Then on April 20th, Mercury crosses both Mars and Saturn in Aries. This triple conjunction highlights the necessity to balance the tendency toward impulsive and direct expression with the awareness of a potential consequences of our words and actions. Mercury meeting both Mars and Saturn in Aries asks for both honesty and responsibility in communication. This configuration invites us to strengthen our mental discipline and be particularly mindful of how we deliver our message. Yes, yes, yes. And this message I got from Greg Crawford, another great astrologer. He really goes deep. I really like the things he does. So he's talking about this in terms of the energy. Times of Saturn and Mars conjunctions tend to bring frustration and obstacles to work through in our personal lives, as well as harrowing current events. We won't have another new moon in Aries like this in our lifetimes, made all the more rare considering the recent conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in the first degree of Aries, with Mercury and Mars moving in between them. We may experience extremities of emotions following the new moon in Aries, as Mars, Mercury, and Saturn collide together on April 19th and 20th. For some, it may be more about enduring hardship through disciplined action. For others, the implosion of planets in Aries may incite inflamed ambition, idealistic visions, or burning resilience to follow the heart of desire, no matter the odds or obstacles in one's way. Whatever the case may be, take the time to fully explore the feelings demanding attention to more fully realize the guidance they bring for the path ahead. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. Very powerful. So, especially today, if you're feeling a little off, maybe a little more tired, or there's some tension going on, remember Eris is still around doing her thing. Yeah. With this triple conjunction with Mars, Mercury, Saturn. Yeah. Yeah. It ain't supposed to be easy. That's all I got to say. So today we have the first of the three conjunctions. This one is Mars conjunct Saturn in Aries. This Mars Saturn alignment emphasizes the need for structure and commitment and reminds us of the value of delayed gratification. This rare combination in the first sign of the zodiac is characterized by the need to disappoint another to be true to yourself. Action taken now is meant to build a foundation for the future, prioritizing endurance over instant gratification. This aspect gives us the stamina needed to finish complex tasks and go for victory. We'll need the strength, courage, and determination to move forward. However, be careful of anger and resentment ruling your day. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We need to stay in our peacefulness as much and as long as we possibly can, because tomorrow we get the next part of this triple conjunction. And it starts with Mercury conjunct Saturn in Aries. This productive aspect encourages us to finish what we started, especially if it's been giving us grief. Time to cross things off on your to do list so we can finally move on without obligation hanging over us. This alignment demands disciplined thinking, often highlighting challenges where rapid progress is slowed by structure or necessary caution, urging a balance between bold ideas and accountability. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to breathe and let you see some comments that I have come in. Daphne says, sound like the opportunity to move in alignment with our right relations. Absolutely. So important. Thank you, Daphne. Hey, Sarah Sweetwater, and says, thank you from all of us Taurians. Yes, that's right. You are Taurian. I love it. Wonderful. We'll talk to you soon. And then Maria Brown says, good evening. And good evening, Maria. It's good to hear a good evening. And I'm glad that you're here listening in. Thank you. So here's the second conjunction. And this is the one between Mercury and Mars in Aries. This enthusiastic aspect helps us stand our ground and gives us the boldness and charm to argue our case. It's easy to win people over if we stay charming without slipping into anger. Mercury meeting Mars and Aries asks for both honesty and responsibility in communication. This configuration invites us to strengthen our mental discipline and be particularly mindful of how we deliver our message. Yeah, absolutely. So again, the tight energy, it's on. It's on, but we will get through it. It's going to be okay because the universe does have our back. And so we get a little 2-day break of these aspects. And I have to tell you, When I sat down to prepare this, I'm like, okay, do I have to do every aspect? Maybe I can just focus on, like the new moon and then Uranus in going into Gemini and, but when I looked at them, I realized no. All of this stuff is so impactful, and it would be, not okay for me to not present the information to you so that you can do with it as you need. But, yeah, I couldn't leave anything out. And as you see, most of these days, we're getting more than one aspect or one situation, because like the new moon was the only aspect, but the fact that there's this stellium going on, I have to break that down for you. So, yeah, just know that this is a lot. It's a lot, and we're feeling it. So please take care of yourselves and slow down, which is what I'm trying to do. In fact, I'm gonna have some water. My throat was starting to get dry. And I'm also gonna breathe. Yes. And now I will continue with Thursday, the 23rd. And here we have conjunction between Venus, who has moved into Taurus, and with Uranus. This is the final time in our lifetime. Venus conjunct Uranus is the my heart skipped a beat transit. Your heart might skip a beat either because you're frightened and surprised or because you're very, very excited. With Uranus, you never know. Whatever it is that grabs your attention, it's sourced in the higher intelligence of the universe, which is what Uranus represents. It's the real thing. Some surprise encounters and opportunities may set you on an exciting new path. So say yes. And remember, this is the last time in our lifetime. And the reason for that is because Uranus is a very slow moving planet. So next time he's in Taurus, it's going to be a minute. Yeah, it's going to be a minute. So a little more about this time to say goodbye to Uranus and Taurus. Surprise! You thought you had seen it all by now. Wait for the Venus Uranus conjunction at 29 degrees 54 Taurus, right at the very end of the sign. This transit is the final twist no one saw coming. Something reaches a point of no return, and what emerges may be very different from where we thought things were heading. A conjunction at the very last minute of a sign has that I waited until the very end to make my move, and the moment I make it, I'm done. Quality. There's something both decisive and irreversible about it. From here, Venus moves into Gemini with Uranus following in a couple of days later. And with both planets in Gemini, the landscape shifts completely. The Taurus chapter closes and we step into a different world altogether. Gemini, here we come. And this is from Astro Butterfly. Yeah, yeah. It's like way cool. Way cool. So, on that day, the last aspect that Venus will do with Uranus and any other planet with Uranus in Gemini, Venus goes into Gemini. So, Venus, ruler of Taurus and the planet of love, beauty, and values, moves into Gemini on April 23. This lighter, more communicative placement encourages us to approach relationships and aesthetics with a spirit of playfulness and adaptability. Venus's ingress into Gemini reminds us of the value of curiosity and inspires us to see our relationship experiences as learning opportunities. Yes. During this transit, we feel a stronger desire to be out and about, explore new social circles, and expand our networks. Yeah, there's that good Venus energy, loving Venus energy. Love it. And then on Friday, the 25th, oh, there it is. I did put it in. Good. I'm not so crazy. This is my great nephew Adrian's birthday, and I'm so proud of him. He's just gotten into an honor society in his school in human services. And he also has become a resident assistant at his university. So I'm really, really happy for him. The University of Central North Carolina. Yeah, he's amazing. Happy birthday, Adrian. And on this day, we get one of the few squares. Let me see. We have four squares this month. So this is one of the four squares. And it is the sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Whoa, get ready to dig your heels in today, as the tenacious aspect will have you fighting for your rights. However, don't challenge authority without a plan, or you won't get very far. And also on this day, the big one. Let me do my drum roll. Yes, Uranus goes into Gemini. So all you Taurians can celebrate because your Uranian initiation has ended, never to occur in your lifetime. So the big changes are on the horizon as the slow moving Uranus will settle into intellectual Gemini for the next 7 years, with the planet of freedom and originally in the sign of the twins. The only thing certain is uncertainty. Get ready for an era of big ideas, changing minds, and revolutions. Yeah, because he's going to be here until 2033. A major energetic shift arrives today as Uranus moves into Gemini for real, because last July, July 25th, he moved out, he retrograded. No, he moved out of Taurus into Gemini for a minute and then, of course, moved back in. But now he's here to stay. This is his new home. The Ingress begins a 7 year cycle of innovation and revolution in areas ruled by Gemini, which is communication, technology, education, transportation, and social networks. Expect rapid advancements in AI, digital platforms, aviation, and how we relate through grassroots and global networks. Yeah, because Gemini is an air sign. So that's why aviation is there. When Uranus changes signs, what used to feel urgent and defining for the past 7 years begins to lose its grip as new themes suddenly take all our focus and energy. On a personal level, Uranus in Gemini challenges us to think differently, speak boldly, and question the narratives we've inherited. This is a time for mental liberation and creative rebellion. Uranus ingresses start with a bang. Unlike other outer planets like Neptune, which operates in mysterious ways, Uranus doesn't have time for gentle transitions. It delivers shocks, breakthroughs, and wake up calls. When Uranus entered Aries in 2011, we had Fukushima. Remember that? The nuclear meltdown in Japan? And the Arab Spring, which nobody expected. Uranus and Taurus in 2018 brought us the crypto boom and disruptions to financial and environmental systems. Yeah. So, just a few hours after Venus, Uranus entered Gemini 2, this is his second and final ingress into the sign of the twins, where he will remain until 2032 to 2033. This is a powerful collective shift, one that inaugurates a period of drastic change in how we think, communicate, and connect. And the reason this is called a collective shift is because Uranus is one of the outer planets. It's not a personal planet. So this is going to affect our global consciousness. Yeah. Uranus and Gemini will revolutionize education systems and bring massive shifts in the way we learn and share information. Thank God, because we need that. On a personal level, Uranus and Gemini challenges us to think differently, speak our truth boldly, and embrace a more flexible, curious mindset. This transit invites us to liberate ourselves from restrictive narratives and find novel ways to express our ideas. Expect the unexpected when it comes to conversations, travel, and intellectual pursuits. And you notice the call back to the new moon in Aries with this, healing self-abandonment. Yeah. And that's like a prep for what is coming with this energy of Uranus and Gemini on the 25th. Yeah. Hey, Magella. Oh, thank you for the loving message. I love you too, my darling. Thank you. Yeah. So Uranus and Gemini, no joke, y'all, no joke. So here's some more message from Astro Butterfly. Freedom, innovation, and shift in perspective. Uranus in Gemini marks a massive shift from yin energy, Capricorn, Pisces, and Taurus, to yang energy, Aquarius, Aries, Gemini. This transition is unprecedented and will impact us on all levels: mental, emotional, social, and technological. Uranus is the intelligent design that writes the script of our existence. The world as we know it is based on the Uranian framework, an invisible architecture of order, logic, and pattern. And that's what I call cosmic law. Astrologically, Uranus is the big brain of the universe, the face that not only designs the blueprint, but also makes sense of what's happening at the larger scale. Symbolically, it represents our capacity to break free from rules, structures, and inherited scripts, to go off grid, both literally and metaphorically. In that sense, it represents freedom. Because when you step outside the narrative, we gain the power to choose our own. Uranus and Gemini ask us to open our minds and welcome ideas, experiences, and possibilities we hadn't considered before, even those that challenge everything we thought to be true. Mhm. And I think a lot of this is going to be happening in religious circles, definitely in education, definitely in the medical field. Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to see some big change, and finance too, of course. Yeah, we're going to see some big shifts. She goes on to say, when we embrace this change and open to a higher perspective, Uranus and Gemini becomes a supportive influence. It speeds things up, creates breakthroughs, and reveals entirely new paths. The Sabian symbol of Uranus, and I tell you, a Sabian symbol, this is so cool. So this man mapped out for every aspect with the planets, meaning if Uranus is with Aries or if Uranus is with this one, all of the planets, whatever zodiacal sign they meet with, there is this symbol that he makes. It's very archetypal and symbolic. And so for Uranus in the first degree in Gemini, it's a glass bottom boat. It reveals undersea wonders. Wow. The symbol speaks to the surprising treasures that suddenly become visible when we shift our perspective. With fresh eyes, what was once invisible to the logical mind is suddenly revealed. All it takes is a simple shift in how we look. Wow, wow. And Astro Butterfly laid this down back in July of 2025 when she talked about Uranus going into Gemini. Now, I want you to understand about this perspective and the shifting because, the sciences have helped us understand more about our reality. Ancient peoples knew this, folks. Let me tell you, from Africa, Egypt, and in Africa, here in this continent, in Americas, the Incas, the Mayan, the Toltec, on and on and on. Of course, in China, all over Australia. And what they knew is that there were these other dimensions, there were these other worlds, and that there were things that the animals could see and hear that we couldn't. And that's why they had so much respect for the animals and worked with the animals and prayed before they slaughtered them or asked, can I have this to help me survive? It wasn't like what goes on in modern world because like we can't see the infrared. We can't see the cosmic rays or the neutrinos. But all of these entities are real, just like we can't see atoms with our own eyes, right? Yeah. And so, what this is talking about with this new perspective, I just love this because it opens us up to understanding that there is more going on around you, within you, than what you are aware of and that we're going to start becoming more aware of some of these things. Yeah. And that is wonderful because the more we have an awareness of what's going on, the more we can respond in a healthy, happy, and loving way. Yeah. So this is going to be a really, really interesting period of Uranus in Gemini, starting on the 25th. Although some of us can feel it coming already. Yeah, it's already coming up. So, also on the 25th, we have one more aspect that's pretty important. This is Pallas, the asteroid, entering Gemini. Yeah. So Pallas brings clarity, confidence, and courage, and we are ready to conquer any problem or person who stands in our way. Use this energy for taking bold action as well as strategic planning, as this asteroid feels right at home in the fiery and forward thinking sign of Aries. Get ready to step into your personal sovereignty and make your power moves. Yes. And I love this. I love this because to me, this is saying move out of that victim consciousness, step into your agency and the truth of who you are. Love it. It's just really good stuff. Absolutely. And so now on Saturday, the 26th, next week, we get two more aspects involving Aries. This one is Venus in Gemini sextiling Neptune in Aries. And it says, follow your passion today. It could lead to something truly beautiful. This creative aspect encourages us to expand our artistic vision as anything is possible today. Dream big. Yeah, I love that. And then we get Mercury in Aries, but it's squaring Jupiter in Cancer. Try not to procrastinate today, as indecision can cause delays and frustration. The devil is in the details, meaning that hidden, intricate details require careful attention to avoid mistakes. Stay focused, don't multitask. Shay. And then last but not least, our final aspect is on the 28th of this month, and it is a flow energy. It is a trine. Venus in Gemini, trining Pluto in Aquarius. This intellectual aspect encourages us to share our thoughts and ideas with others. Big meetings of the minds can lead to lively debates and can then lead to major changes and deeper, more soulful connections. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. And so, as always, as long as this is going on, the cosmic reminder about the grand trine minor, the magic triangle. And this is a most positive, significant, and consequential planetary alignment of our lifetimes and this century, because these three outer planets coming together in Gemini, Aries, and Aquarius. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's bringing an amazing period of discovery and revelation and will benefit everyone, but in particularly if you're Aries, you're Gemini, or Aquarius. And this is extremely rare, very rare, and also rare that it is going to be hanging out in our solar system for the amount of time it is. It's going to go on until 2028. And right now, all of the planets are moving forward. So this energy is moving. It is here for us. That's why I keep saying, keep your hope. Don't go into despair. It's going to be okay. And let's continue to pray for world peace and for the people who are on the front lines of this mess that's going on. But again, we know it has purpose. I truly believe that, but we really need it to end. And again, honor the venerable monks who have given us these wonderful tools. And every day you get up, write it down, speak it aloud, repeat it out loud. Today is going to be my peaceful day, Ashe. And right now, the venerable monks are on their way to Sri Lanka, or they'll be going to Sri Lanka, I think, this week, um, to do a Walk for Peace journey there. And Aloka's with them because they're going to be promoting about taking care of the animals, being kind to animals. And Aloka is the poster child for that in Sri Lanka. Yeah. So, really, really good stuff. And so, my dears, there you have it. I want to remind you too that this week is the official annual Earth Day on April 22nd. They're doing festivities now, of course. Check out www.earthday.org. They've got some videos on YouTube and see what you can do to consciously make a contribution to making sure that our Earth is inhabitable for the seventh generation that comes after us. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sarah Sweetwater. She's sending me hugs and a thank you. It is my great pleasure to be here and to do this work with all of you, to share this information, pull it all together. I will be back next week on Sunday to live stream my Wisdom Walk talk. And the theme is going to be about honoring the higher timeline. Yeah, which I love talking about that. And then I'll be back for an astrology talk on May 1st to give you the download on the full moon in Scorpio. And I think it's a strawberry moon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I love strawberry moons. Anyway, do take care of yourselves. Be well, be happy, be peaceful, and remember, it's going to be okay. Take care now. Bye bye.